Welcome back. I've got an exciting video for you today. Actually, thought-provoking. These are thoughts that have been provoking me here for the last day or so. And so I wanted to share some of these with you. Now, realize that my intention for this video is for you to have an absolutely extraordinary life. An amazing life where every single day feels like an adventure, feels like a gift. And so hopefully some of these ideas are going to come across with that. So that's my intention. That's what I'm focusing on. Now, the question that I want to ask is the person that you're becoming scary? Meaning, are you scared? Do you have some fear? Do you have a little uneasiness of becoming the person that you need to be? Now, before answering, absolutely not. This will be great. I'm so excited to become this better person. There's sometimes in the growth, I think that people don't take action doing the things that they need to do because of a fear of who they must become. It's uneasy. It's outside of their comfort zone. There are things that are going to happen and things that are going to change that are going to pull you back to being the person that you still are. This becomes an identity issue. It becomes a self-image issue of how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as the person you feel you are right now? Or do you see yourself most often as the person that you want to be? So if you see yourself as the person that you are right now most often, you're probably going to keep doing all of the same things that you're already doing, and you're going to get more of what you've already got. However, if you see yourself most often as the person you want to be, that's when you start thinking and making different decisions. In a decision-making moment, you might look at, I would normally do this thing over here, but I feel that I am the person that I want to be, so that person would do something different. So, for example, I would normally just go and watch TV, but I want to become a better writer, and that's the vision that I have for myself and who I want to be. So instead of just going and watching TV, I'm actually going to sit down and I'm going to write something and go and publish it. Two different decisions, two different actions that you can take in that one moment, and one leaves you being the person that you feel you already are. The other one holds on to that self-image of being the person that you want to be. But think of how life changes when you change. A lot of times you have people that are rooting for you at the beginning. They're excited to see you succeed. And I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about this. And they're saying, people are excited for you in the very, very beginning. They're rooting for you to win because you haven't bested them yet. You're not better than them. You haven't succeeded more than they have. And they said that they're excited to see you succeed because it reminds them of the dreams that they have. So it's like you're in it together, right? But then as soon as you succeed, as soon as you get past a certain point, all of a sudden that relationship, that dynamic might change. And it might change to where they're looking at you and saying, oh, you feel like you're too good for me now that you've gotten some success. Oh, you don't have time to spend with me anymore because you're too busy out there killing it and making money. Oh, I see how it is. You're going to forget the little people, right? And when that happens, what does that say about you? How do you feel about that? If it's a close friend, if it's a relative, if it's even a complete stranger, that might make you second guess yourself, thinking, wow, am I really too big for everybody else? No, that's not me. That's not me. I want to be able to still spend time with you. You're still important to me. I still want to show love to you. Or do you look at it and you realize, unfortunately, this relationship is growing apart, just as relationships do. I don't know if you're still in contact with an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend from high school, or if it's somebody that you literally haven't talked to in years, maybe even decades. I don't know if those people that your relationships, your paths have parted ways. if you still had a good relationship with them, or if you grew in a different way than they did. Maybe you grew up, I had a friend that I grew up with since the very first grade, and we were great friends pretty much through school. High school, we started having a difference of opinions, and that caused our relationship to split. And you realize that it's not good or bad, it's just you're becoming a different person. We were two different people. And the more that we learned about ourselves, the more we learned that our opinions and our ideas don't really jive with each other. It doesn't really coincide. And we ended up going separate ways. And that doesn't just stop at high school. That's throughout life if you're going to grow. So when you start growing into being the person that you want to be, will you get pulled back by these relationships that make you feel guilty? Will you get pulled back in by somebody saying, you're not the person you used to be? You're not the same person. Once you started making more money, once your business took off, then you started forgetting about us. You stopped spending time with us. And that might be true. But the question is yes, you did change. And did you change for you? Like we were talking about yesterday, who are you doing this for? I hope you're doing it for you. So when you do change, there are some relationships that you're probably going to have to let go of. There are some people that your lives are going to diverge in two different ways. And while that might be difficult, it's also important for you to be focused on who it is you're becoming, because you're doing this for you. You're doing this to become a better person. Now, what happens if this happens in a relationship? Maybe somebody that you're married to. Maybe you're in a long-term relationship with somebody and you're not married, but there's a lot of time invested into that relationship. So what happens if they no longer want to go on the same route that you do? What's the choice that you have to make? I'm not going to tell you one way or the other, but I'm going to tell you you're going to have a very, very tough decision to make, a life-changing decision. Because on the one hand, if you stay with somebody and they don't want to grow and change with you, then you're going to have to decide whether you're going to stay the same or whether you're going to part from that relationship and grow to be the person that you want to be. Grow to do what fulfills you. What's fulfilling in your life? See, there's a lot of times where we take it personally, like, oh no, I wasn't a good friend. I wasn't a good husband. I wasn't a good wife. I couldn't weather the storm through all of this. But the reality might be is that you're growing in a different direction than somebody else is. So, does that scare you? Do those prospects that life can change dramatically as you start becoming the person that you want to be? It does to me. It's scary thinking that, wow, I'm going to grow past and beyond these different people. But you realize that, like, sometimes your friends are going to change. That's just a given. The more successful you want to be, the more you want to start hanging out with other successful people. If you're hanging out with somebody and you want to tell them all about your business and you want to bounce ideas off them and they have no business whatsoever, they have no idea what it is you do, they have no opinion to be able to give you, and they really don't care about what you're talking about, how much benefit do you get from that relationship? How much growth can you get? How much can that person really push you? And the answer is they probably can't. The answer is that relationship might get really boring simply because of the fact that your lives are going in two totally different directions. But see, this is where people get pulled back into it. They get pulled back into their old self because they don't want to have that change happen. They don't want to feel like they're a bad person. They don't want to feel guilty for growing. And this is something where I'm going to say, and I hope this isn't taken the wrong way, but saying grow into being the person that you are. Be authentic to who you are. Now, some people aren't going to like it. Some people are going to have an issue with the way you think, the type of person that you want to be, and the type of things that you want to do. They will take issue with it. They might say you're immoral. They might say you're unethical. They might just freak out over what it is that you think you are. They might try to make you feel guilty for it. But realize this, if it's who you are, be authentic to that. Don't try to put this mask on to try to be everything to everyone. I would say be authentic as to who you are, because when you're authentic, when you start taking action in the direction that you want to live and the person that you want to be, that's where that fulfillment is. Because there is nothing fulfilling in trying to be everything to someone else and neglecting yourself and who you are. Trying to live in your own shadow. Just going, one day I'm going to become this person. One day I'm going to go do all of these things that I've wanted to do, that I've dreamed about, that I've wanted and obsessed over. But I never could because somebody else needed my attention. Somebody else needed me. I needed to be a different person for these other people that I never wanted to be. You don't want to be saying that. You don't want to have that kind of regret. And I think the way that you sidestep that kind of regret, the way that you can start living authentically, is by accepting who it is you are. Because let's be honest, you're still learning who you are. We're growing through this process every single day. We're building something. If you're not building a business, if you're not building a relationship, if you're not building your health, you're building and finding out more about yourself. You're growing every single day, even if it's just a little bit. You're still growing. But my point for this entire video is for you to be true to you, for you to be honest with yourself on who you are and who you want to be. Because when you step into that self-image, when you step into being that person, you start making decisions as the person you want to be. And are all those decisions going to be right? Absolutely not. You're still going to fail. You're still going to make mistakes. But remember our reframe. Failure is just learning. It's learning about who we are. It's learning about what we like and what we don't like. So don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't be ashamed of the things that you want to do and the person that you want to be. And as long as you're taking steps to becoming that person, that's all you can expect for yourself. That's all that needs to be expected. You don't have to live up to somebody else's expectation. You need to live up to your expectation of who you want to be. Does growth and stepping into that new self-image, does it scare you? I hope it does a little bit. Because that means you're pushing outside of your comfort zone. It means you're not just being the person that you already know you are. Doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you are trying to be someone that you're not. It means that where you want to go is somewhere that you've never been before. It's a journey. It's an adventure. It's a chance for you to step into being someone that you've always thought you wanted to be and learning who you are throughout that entire journey. Because no matter how much you know about yourself, there's always something else to know. And every single step forward, every single new experience you have, you're going to get one step closer. And I'm going to bring up the movie Fight Club and a line that Tyler Durden says. He's one of the main characters. And he says, how much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? Right? How many people would ever want to be in a fight? I have. And that statement, believe it or not, is absolutely true. You learn so much more about yourself. And every single thing that you're going to do from here on out, you're going to learn about yourself. And that's where the excitement happens. It's not in the getting of the stuff, right? That's all nice and well, but it's not the getting of the stuff. It's the learning who you are. It's the experience and the adventure of becoming who you are. Because trust me, there are plenty of people out there that are doing the same thing right now that they were doing 10 years ago. Every single day is just a blur of all of the last ones. There might have been a little blip somewhere along the line, but overall, if you ask them, hey, what was 2015 like for you? And they go, a lot like 2023. You're going, if you've been doing the exact same thing for the last 10 years, has it at least been exciting? Nope. Just the same thing, different day. It's amazing. You have such an amazing gift of life right now. It's such a shame to waste it. So promise yourself that you're not going to waste another moment. Not one more moment will you waste trying to be something to somebody else. Decide right now that you are going to be authentic to you and that you're going to start taking those steps and stepping into that self-image that you want to be, even if it's scary. Trust me, I'm right here with you. It is scary. It's scary to me. But I know that each step forward is going to be worth it. And it's going to be worth not regretting that you didn't do something earlier. Regret's going to be absolutely awful. If you ever feel regret for things that you didn't do, you don't want to waste another 10 years and then look back on today and say, man, I really wish I did. Because 10 years from now, you're going to be saying one of two things. Man, I'm so glad I did it. Or man, I really wish I did. Which one are you going to say? I'm going to leave you with that question. So decide, do you want to step into that fear, step into that new self-image, even though it's scary, and become the person that you ultimately are, the authentic you? Or do you just want to waste your time doing the same thing you've always done? So, roll that around in your head a little bit. Because I know it's going to be scary, but I guarantee you it's going to be worth it. So I will see you in tomorrow's video. I know you're going to be here because I'm going to be here too, and I'm super excited about our conversation. So I will see you tomorrow. Until then, take action now.